The method you use is imagination. It makes possible thinking out of the box. Because you'd say, well, in 25 years' time, how will things look? That gives you a license to have new creative thinkings.
There is some new guiding principles bubbling under in society, and one seems to be about people rethinking what quality of life is about. Not so much anymore in economic terms, but wider than that.
Clearly, the old economic principles are what's still being taught in the business schools, but there are many people who no longer trust those economic principles. There's simply too much missing.
In the past, you basically had only one change to deal with, maybe generational shift. That's okay. But now it's the three changes at the same time. There's a demographic change, the technological change, and there's the macroeconomic change.
The future revolution, in order to happen, has to already be there. There's no way a revolution can happen in a vacuum, just.
As individuals, we're using more and more computer devices. It's not just the PC, it's the mobile phone, it's something on your dashboard, it's all sorts of stuff. And it's a real nuisance if all your applications are scattered among those devices and all your data has to be, copied back and forth between those devices. And what cloud computing offers, because it's centralized, is that you can feed any device with the same application, the same store of data, which makes things much easier for the end user.
All organizations live on a spectrum kind of between those two extremes of very centralized, top-down, centrally controlled like a spider, or very decentralized like a starfish. The internet age, with the tremendous power of decentralization that it enables, allows us to restructure many businesses and make them much more decentralized.
We already have smart floors, smart ceilings, smart toilets, smart light switches. What happens when you have smart people? What happens when you put the intelligence onto people?
The recession that we're currently in is what I call the gateway recession. What happened before and what happened afterward will be quite different. The worlds will be very different. The consumer will have changed during this recession. They will demand technology in a certain way, and companies will have to answer that by being digital first.
The technology starts being used, and the people who start using it realize that the old ways of doing things are no good. And they have to invent new ways.
Looking forward, I think there's little doubt that the two most promising technologies out there today are biotech, and the second would be nanotechnology. In many ways, these are actually more powerful technologies than IT ever was or ever could be.
It's probably not technology per se, but the use of technology. Right, so it's around how people take these tools, and as technology becomes more diffuse, pervasive in the world, you're only going to see these changes occur more profoundly and more quickly.
Once you accept that technology has the power to be a nightmare, but it also has the power to truly enrich your life, then you start asking new questions. How can technology make my life softer and speak to my emotions and speak to my spirit? How can technology protect me? How can it make me feel safe? How can technology rebring balance to our society and to our culture? New questions for new answers.
You can never predict anything if you can't see both sides. There is what is technologically possible, there is what is economically profitable, and there is what's socially acceptable and desirable.
I don't think that you can predict the future, and therefore the only alternative is to systematically try to think about the alternative futures, scenarios that might present themselves, because the principle is that if you haven't thought about something, you haven't thought about it, and it's not there, so then you get surprised, right?
If I can't predict the future, then adaptability and flexibility is paramount. Focus on those skills, possess those skills, be world-class at those skills, then worry about where the journey takes you, but be ready for the journey.
Increasingly, I suspect, business models will be how can you share to generate more momentum and ideas, but still make some money, and find a way to turn that into a service, a product, an experience, a tool, something that people will pay for. So more of business in future will be about this interaction of community and commerce together.